Okay, I've had more questions about this beauty here since I posted it 2 days ago than I can actually keep up with, so I'm gonna try and just do a video that answers a few of them for you. Number one question, am I taking commissions? Yes, I absolutely am. I just opened up my shop a couple months ago. Question number two, how did I learn to sew? I have been sewing as a hobbyist for probably 25-ish years. I learned in high school, in early high school, and it was something that my mom was really intent on me learning, and I'm really glad that she really pushed that hard for me. It taught me a lot of math skills. It taught me how to take care of myself. It taught me how to literally make something out of nothing. So a lot of the clothes that I learned how initially to make were actually made out of old bed sheets and thrifted items. As I got older, I was still doing it, but not as like a job or anything. I just did it just as a hobby. And in the past probably 2 years, I really started pushing myself to take classes, to learn more advanced techniques, to learn more about cosplay and prop building, how to work with things like Warbla, how to solder things, how to create elements and things on my own. And I invested in a really good sewing machine and an embroidery machine, and I've been pretty much just going strong ever since. Question number three, how do you wash this? So this question I always find kind of interesting because it's like asking how do you wash a wedding dress or a gala dress for that matter. So the base of this dress is actually an underbust steel-boned corset. It's also covered in a lot of mixed media like artificial plants, rhinestones, pearls, and things like that. Many of the embellishments are also made out of metal. There's also a ton of very delicate hand stitching as well as thermoplastics and heavy-duty industrial glue. Not to mention a chain halter. So there's a lot of very delicate things on this gown, and it is not something that is meant to be just thrown in your normal laundry. Just like with a heavily beaded or a heavily rhinestone gown of any sort, from bridal to prom to fantasy gown to gala gown, you take it to someone that knows what they're doing. One thing that people don't necessarily realize is that corsets in general, whether they are stays, bodices, even modern day corsets, and particularly those from like the 18th century and whatnot, which are like some of my absolute favorite ones, they are not meant to be washed. They are not even meant to be cleaned. Most people in the 18th century usually wore things like chemises underneath the corset. That was the first layer, and it usually absorbed things like sweat and whatnot. And those things were definitely meant to be taken to the wash. But the corsets themselves, the bodices, the stays, or the bodies were not meant to actually be washed. And when I say bodies, I mean like it's a type of corset, not like the body itself, obviously. So I just wanted to throw that in there as like a little history tidbit. For example, for a gown like this, since I do plan on wearing this one this year to the Labyrinth Masquerade Ball, which is a 2-night event in Los Angeles in August, if I do need to take it to the dry cleaners, it is definitely going to be taken to my absolute favorite one that specializes in theatrical garments and in bridal wear. Other than that, just basic spot cleaning is all that you really need. So if I were to get a little bit of dirt or something on the train of this gown, I would just do a little bit of spot cleaning with some lukewarm water. If that doesn't work, I'll take some gentle soap, something that is dye-free, fragrance-free, something very, very mild that can just sit there and I can very gently get the fabric clean. The best way I can try to describe it to people is treat it like an artifact, not like a t-shirt. It is not something that is meant to be worn all the time. It is not meant to be worn every day, although I would absolutely adore to if it were possible. So I hope that answers some of the questions out there. Now it's time for me to get back to sewing.